welcome back. It's part 2 of the video, and as you can see, I've finished the installation of the wiring harness. Got a little quick with the lighter, so a little charring on the shrink connectors, on the butt connectors, but all in all it is connected now correctly. A few zip ties to keep the wire harness decent. Some people like vinyl tape, I like zip ties. It isn't sticky in case you ever have to get back into it. It's quick. To make perfectly clear, the identifications for the rear end and front end. I'll go through the channels and give you the colors. My white and white black is my left front. My green and green black, that is my left rear. Once again, as you can see, the brown is a common color denomination. Get that one out of there. There you are. And my violet and violet black. That's my right rear. And of course, what's left other than green and green black, which initially was my right front. That's my circuit, once again, that I used to identify which speaker set was which. I used the blue wire, which is your power antenna turn on or your amp signal wire, and I cut into that wire harness and identified the amp, factory amp turn on wire. So I'm going to take the rest of my wire harness and I'm going to leave the factory harness out of it. That is for the LED backlight on the old head unit and the dimmer positive and negative. I taped them up so that there's no connection to any grounding. And I'm going to pull this away from the harness itself. I'm going to leave this out, and I will go with vinyl tape all the way up to the original harness. I will take the nice factory felt. Take one zip tie. Go around it. Snug it a little bit. Snippers. I'll do that again on the back side of the connections. Small amount of vinyl tape. I like to use blue for stereo installations. That way, if anyone has to come in behind me, they can identify that that's been done, and black is generally factory. Sometimes you'll see that they use yellow, which is not always the same. So, with this being done, I am now going back to the actual stereo head unit itself. The original had 2 mounting brackets because it was a double DIN installation factory, which on the factory unit I had to remove these brackets, and it even tells you right or left and what size it is. If you look at the new head unit itself, that there are slots and pins for this bracket to sit in. There's usually an identifier mark for that little pin to sit in. The factory screws generally will not trade over, but every stereo installation is nice enough to at least give you a new bag of screws. Take them very carefully and tighten them in. Now, you should use a screwdriver to finish tightening them in. I will use an impact driver. You can see you do not torque it way down, just gently, slowly, take your time. You don't want to break your brand new head unit. You don't want to strip a screw. You don't want it to flop around in the deck. So now you take, with your key off, plug in your head unit, plug in your antenna, gently tuck your wiring harness back into the dashboard. Make sure you give clearance from your original units. That should tuck gently back into the original position. As you can see, that sits back considerably farther than the original. Now we can adjust that by gently removing the head unit and identifying where you want to move it to. Now, the factory head unit itself is pretty beefy. So with this one, it's not so much. There is a trim ring that comes with the kit that goes on the front. So I will install the trim ring, reinstall the stereo system, make a few minute adjustments, and come right back to you.